everybody, it's Mark from the swiftbrosgear channel. It is good to be with you today, and I hope that everyone is doing well. We have another Helix preset today. It is a wet, dry, wet 3 amp preset. Very traditional. Traditional wet, dry, wet has 1 amp in the center that is without effects, basically. Just clean through the amp, and then a left and right amp that are saturated in delay and reverb and modulation and whatever else you might want to put on there. So I've recreated that in the Helix to the best of my ability, and let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is the wet, dry, wet preset that we are going to be working with today. I will tell you again, as per typical with my channel, as of right now, things are still free. They're going to be on the website, swiftbrosgear.com. Taking a look at the preset, again, it's a 3 amp preset. So we have an Interstate Z, which is going to run on the left, the US Small Tweeds on the right, and then our clean center channel is going to be that, it's the Lonestar channel 1, or the Cali, Texas channel 1, as Line 6 likes to call it. So how this all works is these two volumes right here are the internal expression controller in the Helix. This is an external expression controller. And so everything comes in and gets split 3 ways right away. Left and right, center. So this left channel, boom, goes right in to this volume. Again, this is the one that is built into the Helix. Sends the right through here, hits the amp, and then you have options on the board itself to turn on a modulation, which is a flanger, a dotted eighth delay, and a reverb, and it goes into the cab and a boom out to the left. Right here comes in. This is that same trick I used with the AC30. Again, not going to tell you what it is quite yet. Goes into our amp and then goes path 2B down here. Again, we get a chorus, a quarter note delay, a cave reverb, and a cab. In this case, it's a 212. Up here, it's a Bluebell 112. Our center, again, starts from right there, our third input. Goes into a volume. We have the option to turn on a comp, and again, this is on a foot switch. An auto filter, kind of like a wah. I don't have a third expression controller, so this is the best I could do with that. It hits a Timmy, and into that channel 1, and then a matchless 2x12 G25s. So why don't we take a listen to what this actually sounds like? I feel like I've been talking way too long. First, let's listen to the Mesa Boogie. That's by itself. That's position 4 on the Strat. Here's position 2. So again, we're dialed in right at the edge of breakup, which is where I like my amps to be. So cleans up quite nice. Or we can hit it harder and just start to get some of that breakup. Nothing else is on at this point in time. Let's listen to what the other two sound like. I'll turn the Lonestar down and turn them up. So those are a little thin on purpose because when you put them all together, the low end of the Mesa, of the Lonestar, makes up for that and then some more. So I'll show that to you right here. I really had to dial back on the bass on the Cali, Texas, or the Lonestar channel 1. It's quite a thick and heavy low end to that amp, as most Mesa Boogies are. And now let's take a look at what we can do utilizing the effects that are on our left and right side. So if I want to just add some reverb, okay, I can get that decently wet now because these two volume controls here are the same and they are first in the chain. I can control the amount of reverb, delay, modulation, and all that by simply controlling the volume of those two amps. So I can back those off to nothing, and I still have my Lonestar, and then I can bring some in. I also get some of the more presence-y mid sound of the other two amps as I've set it up. Or I can really bring in a lot of reverb. or anywhere in between. And I can do the same thing with modulation and delay. Let's turn those on too. Again, so dry. Yeah, that's just the Mesa. And then let's bring those in and see what we get. So where I hope this really shines is when we add a little bit of grit to it. On the left-hand side, I put in a Minotaur, a Klon, and then a Timmy in the center, and it does get a little loud. I don't know if you can hear that. Like any of these, when you drive it hard, you get a little digital artifacting when it's just quiet. But let's listen to what that sounds like. So you still, I mean, you got all that ethereal sort of stuff in the background, but you can still hit it hard and actually hear what's going on. And if we take all of that extra stuff out of the background and maybe back off on our left and right to 50% or so, we'll look at what the, here, I'll show you the volume here. Sorry, 70%. Or, I want something a little darker, we'll go up into position 4. I still have the ability, again, to go just back to the Lonestar. And get that real, again, bass-heavy sort of thing going on. All right, it's time for the dad joke of the week. Here it goes. What do you call someone with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. I know that's awful, right? Now, the other thing that you can do, I can bring the volume down on the Lonestar and take these all the way up for a completely different sort of sound. Right, and then I can bring in a little bit more of the Lonestar to taste. So we'll go and we'll roll that up to, say, 65% or so. So the possibilities, depending on how you use the two expression pedals, are pretty wide open. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for sticking around and watching the whole video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Click that link right now. Like the video. Make sure you get all the stuff that's coming up in the near future. Feel free to head on over to the website, download today's preset. It's free right now. There is an option to donate through PayPal. I would appreciate it if you did that. But remember that coming about October 1st, there will be a Patreon account and presets won't be free anymore. They will be free to patrons, but there will be a small charge for the presets to anybody else who wants them. Again, still be available through the website, but won't be free. So use this opportunity while it's still there. And as always, play what you love and love what you play. Thanks.